Yo, what's good, fam? Your boy's back, and today we diving into the darkest family intervention in hip-hop history.
Right, and he's gonna stab somebody.
Dear Sandra, your son got some habits, I hope you don't undermine them.
His mom?
Kendrick's Meet the Grahams bars to Drake's parents. This is the kind of breakdown that had even Kendrick fans feeling uncomfortable, like, yo, did he really just go there? I'm talking about a diss so deep, so surgical, so cold. It ain't just about Drake, it's about the whole Graham family tree. We breaking down every layer, every psychological jab, every cultural implication. If you're ready for the most intense family therapy session ever disguised as a diss track, smash that like, hit subscribe, and let's get into it. Let's set the scene. May 3rd, 2024. Drake drops Family Matters. The internet think he won. Drake celebrating, his team celebrating, bottles popping. Meanwhile, Kendrick, he in the studio, plotting, watching the whole thing unfold. But instead of coming at Drake with the usual bars, Kendrick does something no rapper ever had the audacity to do. He speaks directly to Drake's parents. Not subliminals, not your mama jokes. He addresses Sandy and Dennis Graham by name. And what he says? Yo, it's surgical. It's devastating. It's a family intervention on wax. Tier 1, addressing the mother. Dear Sandra. Kendrick starts with Drake's mother, Sandy Graham. And listen to the approach. He's gentle. He's appealing to her as a woman, not just as Drake's mom. Dear Sandra, your son got some habits. I hope you don't undermine them.
Dear Sandra, your son got some habits, I hope you don't undermine them.
His mom?
Now he talking to his mom? That's not his mom!
Oh wait, hold on. Let me make sure that's Drake's mom, bro.
Oh my God, Sandra is Drake's mother. Oh my God.
Oh my God!
Oh no, he's going through the whole family.
He's going through this nigga family tree!
Oh, nigga, it's getting dark now.
You got some habits, I hope you don't undermine them.
Especially with all the girls that's hurt inside this climate. On the surface, sounds simple, but let's break it down. First layer, he calls her Sandra. Drake named a whole song after his mama, Sandra's Rose. Kendrick using their language, their intimacy, entering their family circle. Second layer, your son got some habits, not mistakes, not incidents, habits. That's a pattern, a lifestyle. Kendrick saying Drake's treatment of women ain't no accident, it's who he is. Third layer, I hope you don't saying I hope you didn't know. He's saying I hope you don't excuse it. That's a mother who's aware but might be enabling. That's next level psychological targeting. Fourth layer, especially with all the girls that's hurt inside this climate. Kendrick puts Drake's misogyny in the political context. Abortion rights, rape culture, patriarchy. He's saying your son is part of the problem, and as a woman, you should know better. Fifth layer, the Family Matters response. Drake opened his diss with his mama's voice, trying to look sympathetic. Kendrick's appealing to her to hold her son accountable. That's the genius. He's not attacking Sandy, he's recruiting her. Tier 2, the emotional appeal. You a woman.
So you know how it feels to be in alignment with emotions, hoping a man can see you and not be blinded.
Use. You a woman, so you know how it feels to be in alignment with emotion, hoping a man can see you and not be blinded. This is why Kendrick is different. First layer, you a woman, so you know. He's articulating the universal female experience, wanting to be seen as a full person, not an object. Second layer, in alignment with emotion. Women seek men who can match emotional intelligence. Drake lacks this. His whole catalog is proof. Women are bodies, trophies, problems to solve, never equals. Third layer, hoping a man can see you and not be blinded.
A man can see you and not be blinded.
Women want to be seen for who they are, not blinded by beauty, sexuality, or image. Drake is blinded. He can't see women as full humans. Fourth layer, the mother-son connection. Sandy should want her son to see women properly. Her son is perpetuating that pain. As a mother and a woman, that should disturb her. Fifth layer, Drake's pattern, objectifying women, reducing them to bodies, never seeing them as equals. Sandy must be aware. Kendrick's appeal to maternal instinct is surgical. He's hoping she'll use her influence for accountability, not just protection. Tier 3. The father. Dear Dennis, you gave birth to a master manipulator.
Dear Dennis, you gave birth to a master manipulator.
He's dead!
Even you
Now Kendrick switches to Dennis Graham. Dear Dennis, you gave birth to a master manipulator. The tone shifts. You gave birth to. Men don't give birth, but Kendrick's emphasizing Dennis's role in creating Drake's character. First layer. Parental responsibility for the child's character. Dennis is the origin. Second layer. Master manipulator. Kendrick used this phrase in Euphoria. Now he's addressing it to the source. This is Drake's defining trait, and Kendrick saying, you created this. Third layer. Drake's documented father issues. Look what you've done. Father in Memphis, can't visit, child support unpaid. Drake's grief documented in his music. He built a career on the absent father narrative. Fourth layer. Dennis's denial. Dennis Graham said Drake lied about the absent father story, denied the narrative Drake built his career on. This function extends to truth itself. Who's manipulating whom? Fifth layer. The irony. Drake got sympathy using his father's absence, built relatability, connected with fans.
using you to prove who he is a huge favor.
Fifth layer, the irony. Drake got sympathy using his father's absence, built relatability, connected with fans. Then his father says it's a lie. Either way, manipulation runs in the family. Sixth layer, the seed metaphor. Gave birth to means planted the seed of manipulation. Dennis's absence or presence taught manipulation. Either way, Dennis is responsible. Notice, Kendrick spoke gently to Sandy, but with the Dennis, direct accusation. Different strategies for different parents. Tier 4, the transactional relationship. Using you as a huge favor. Kendrick drops, even using you to prove who he is a huge favor. Now we get into the economics of Drake's identity. First layer, the Pusha T echo. Monkey suit Dennis, you parade him. Drake uses his black father as a prop. 6 years later, still true. Second layer, identity validation. Drake uses Dennis to prove he's black enough. Father's heritage as credential. Without Dennis, Drake's blackness gets questioned more. Parasitic relationship. Third layer, the suitcase. Meet the Grahams cover art, allegedly stolen. Prescription drugs, receipts, Kendrick using the father's belongings to prove who Drake really is. Fourth layer, huge favor.
I think you should ask for more paper and more paper and more paper.
Drake keeping Dennis around isn't generosity, it's necessary for Drake's image. Dennis provides racial credibility. Drake needs him more than Dennis needs Drake. Fifth layer, the transactional reality. This isn't father-son love, it's transaction. Dennis provides blackness, Drake provides money. Favor implies Drake could withdraw it. That's manipulation. Sixth layer, the need to prove. Drake constantly has to prove his identity, uses his father as evidence. If identity were authentic, no proof would be needed. The need to prove equals inauthenticity. This is brutal psychological analysis. Kendrick just reduced the father-son relationship to a business transaction. Tier 5, the money demand. Ask for more paper. Kendrick hits the knockout. I think you should ask for more paper, and more paper, and more paper. This is diabolical. First layer, Drake's documented money issues with his father. Look what you've done. Father can't visit over child support. Paying for cigarettes with dollars and some change. Money troubles throughout Drake's childhood. Second layer, the calm reference. Drake's father called him, made him feel guilty and ashamed. How I had a Rolls and I went and got a range. Father paying for cigarettes with change while Drake buys luxury cars. Third layer, Dennis as moocher. Kendrick playing with the idea that Dennis only around for money. Guilt tripping Drake for financial support. Love contingent on payments. Fourth layer, but then Kendrick flips it. Dennis should ask for more money because he's providing something valuable. His blackness validates Drake's entire career. That's worth more than he's getting paid. Fifth layer, the calculation. Without Dennis's black heritage, there's no Drake credibility. Drake built his career partially on the black dad story. Dennis provides racial authenticity. That's worth more than any amount of money. Sixth layer, the repetition. More paper and more paper and more paper. Emphasizes the transaction. Reduces the relationship to money. That is Kendrick catching himself, adding even more, mocking the endlessness of the financial demand. Seventh layer, the economics of blackness. Dennis is selling his blackness to his son. Drake is buying racial credibility. Kendrick saying, charge him more. Your blackness built his empire. Eighth layer, the guilt manipulation reversal. Dennis guilt trips Drake about money. Kendrick saying, the guilt is justified. Drake owes him more than money can repay. Using Dennis's identity is a bigger debt than financial support ever could be. Ninth layer, the double insult. Kendrick insults Drake, needs to buy his blackness from his father, and insults Dennis, sells out his heritage for money. Both caught in transactional racial identity. Neither has an authentic relationship to blackness or to each other. This is the most savage breakdown of a father-son relationship I've ever heard in a diss track. Kendrick just called them both out for participating in the commodification of racial identity. The psychological warfare, speaking to parents instead of the child. Now let's talk about why this approach is so devastating. In hip-hop history, we've seen diss tracks attack rap skills, street credibility, personal relationships, physical appearance, career achievements, but Kendrick did something different. He went to the source. The parents. The people who created Drake. The people who raised him. The people who enabled his worst traits. To the mother he appealed. You're a woman. You understand. Hold your son accountable for how he treats women. To the father he exposed. You're being used. Your blackness is being commodified. You're complicit in the performance, and you're being underpaid for it. This is family system.
With Drake, the biggest rapper in the world. These niggas, yeah, Drake. Drake.
This is blackness for money. Son manipulates both. Learned from father, excused by mother.
Drake.
Yes!
Y'all niggas better stop playing with me. Y'all talking about the light-skinned nigga from DeGeneres?
Drake is the way he is. Look at his parents. Look at the mother who doesn't hold him accountable for misogyny. Look at the father who taught him that identity is transactional and everything has a price. Drake never stood a chance with this foundation. Here's why this section of Meet the Grahams is darker than any diss in hip-hop history. Most diss tracks attack the individual. This attacks the family system. Most diss tracks say, you're fake. This says, you're fake because your parents made you that way. Most diss tracks go for career, skills, credibility. This goes for psychological development and family trauma. Kendrick didn't just say Drake is a bad person. He explained how Drake became a bad person by examining the parental relationships that shaped him. That's not just a diss, that's a psychological profile. And the darkest part is probably true. These aren't random accusations. These are based on things Drake himself has said in his music, his own words about his father, his own relationship patterns with women, his own identity struggles. Kendrick took Drake's catalog, analyzed it, and presented it back to him through the lens of family dysfunction. That's disturbing. That's invasive. That's the kind of analysis that makes you uncomfortable because it's hitting too close to truth. When this dropped, even Kendrick fans felt uncomfortable. Why? Because this wasn't fun. This wasn't competitive sport. This was therapy. This was intervention. This was one man telling another man's parents that they failed to raise him right. The culture had never seen anything like this. We've seen Tupac verses, Biggie, coastal warfare, Nas verses, Jay-Z, lyrical excellence battles, 50 Cent verses, Ja Rule, street credibility wars, Eminem verses, everyone, shock value and skill. But we'd never seen psychological family systems analysis presented as a diss track. It made people uncomfortable because it felt invasive, like we were listening to something we shouldn't be hearing, like a private therapy session that got recorded and released to the public. But that's what makes it effective. Discomfort means it's working. If you're uncomfortable, that means Kendrick hit something real. Here's the deepest layer that most people missed. Kendrick positioned himself as a family therapist, not a rival, not an opponent, a therapist. He diagnosed the family dysfunction. He identified the enabling patterns. He exposed the transactional relationships. He appealed to the mother's better nature while confronting the father's complicity. This is what therapists do. They don't attack, they reveal, they hold up a mirror. And Kendrick did this publicly, in front of millions of people, turned the beef into a case study. Drake can't respond to this the way you respond to a traditional diss, because Kendrick isn't playing the traditional game. He's playing therapist, and you can't diss back a therapist. You can only either accept a diagnosis or reject it. Either way, you're engaging with the framework Kendrick established. That's mastery. So why is this the darkest breakdown in hip-hop diss track history? Because Kendrick didn't just call Drake fake. He showed that Drake's parents are complicit in the performance. He didn't just attack Drake's character, he attacked the character building process that Drake's parents implemented. He didn't just say Drake is wrong, he said Drake was raised wrong. That's the ultimate insult. Not you're a bad person, but your parents made you a bad person and they're still enabling it. Kendrick dismantled the mother who should protect women but excuses her son's misogyny. The father who should model authentic blackness but sells it for money. The son who learned to manipulate from dad and gets away with it because of mom. The entire Graham family got exposed. The dysfunction, the transaction, the enabling, all of it. And the darkest part, Drake probably can't even talk to his parents the same way after this. Kendrick put thoughts in their heads, made them question, made them wonder if maybe, just maybe, Kendrick is right. That's psychological warfare on a level hip-hop has never seen before. That's it for today's breakdown, fam. Drop a comment. Did this make you uncomfortable? Did Kendrick go too far? Or is this exactly what Drake needed to hear? Smash that like, hit subscribe, and remember, hip-hop ain't just entertainment. Sometimes it's therapy. Sometimes it's truth. Stay locked in, and I'll see you in the next one where we break down even more layers you probably missed. Peace.